If you're building with Retrieval Augmented Generation, RAG, you know the struggle. How do you get your AI to give good, accurate answers every single time? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into how you can actually measure and improve your RAG system's quality. It's time to move from just guessing to getting real, provable results. Let's get right into it.
It all comes down to this one simple but really powerful idea. When your RAG app spits out a bad answer, just fiddling with the prompt or the LLM, that's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Seriously, if you aren't measuring the core parts of your system, you're just guessing. You're flying blind.
So here's the absolute key. To build a RAG system that really works, you must evaluate its two main components separately. And you've got to do this before you even think about tuning the final generation model.
Think about it like this. Before you worry about how eloquently your AI is writing, you have to be sure about what it's reading in the first place. The problem usually isn't the AI's ability to talk, it's the quality of the info we're feeding it. We got to isolate the problem right at the source.
Okay, so this brings us to the two fundamental pillars of RAG evaluation. And I promise if you can get a handle on these two things, you're going to be way ahead of the game in building a system you can actually trust. And it really just boils down to two simple questions. First, on the retrieval side, did your system even find the right documents from your knowledge base? And second, groundedness. Okay, once it had those documents, did it actually use them faithfully to build the answer? See, they're two totally different problems and they need different tools to solve.
All right, let's start with that first question, because finding the right information is the bedrock of this whole thing. If your retrieval is weak, believe me, nothing else matters. So how do we measure it?
The most basic check is just the hit rate. It's a simple yes or no question. For a user's question, did we find anything useful at all? If your hit rate is low, it's a huge red flag that your system is failing at the most fundamental level.
But just finding something isn't good enough, right? We need to know the signal-to-noise ratio. That's where precision at K comes in. Let's say you retrieve 5 documents. That K is 5. What percentage of those are actually relevant? This tells you how much junk your system is making the LLM sort through. Higher precision means higher quality.
Now let's flip that around. Recall, at K, asks a different question. Of all the good documents that exist in your entire database for that question, how many did you actually find? This is all about being thorough. You can have great precision, but if your recall is low, you might be missing that one critical piece of info you need for a complete answer. And finally, let's zoom all the way out to coverage. This metric is about the overall power of your knowledge base. Of all the questions your users are asking, what percentage could be answered by the stuff you're retrieving? This helps you find gaps in your own source documents.
Okay, so let's say our retrieval is humming along. We're finding the right stuff. Awesome. But that's only half the battle. Now we have to make sure the AI is using that information correctly and not just, making things up. This whole problem is called groundedness.
Faithfulness is your #1 defense against hallucinations. It asks a simple question. Is every single claim in the answer supported by the documents we retrieved? If the answer includes stuff that wasn't in the context, boom, it fails the faithfulness test. It's as simple as that.
Building on that, we have citations. This is all about user trust. Correctly pointing to which part of which document supports each claim, well, that's what turns a mysterious black box into a system that people can actually check and trust. It lets a human verify the AI's work.
And here's a really simple, direct way to check groundedness. Just look at the quotes. If your model uses a direct quote, is it copied perfectly, character for character? Measuring the accuracy of these quote spans is a super straightforward way to see if the model's getting a little sloppy. So we've got the metrics for retrieval, we've got the metrics for groundedness, but how do you actually put it all into practice? Let's walk through a quick, actionable workflow.
First things first, you need a source of truth. You got to create a golden data set with questions and the perfect source documents that answer them. Second, use all those automated metrics we just talked about, but you have to combine them with real human review to catch the tricky stuff. And finally, and this is the most important part, iterate. Change one thing, just one, like your chunking strategy, then run all your evaluations again and see if the numbers went up.
When you get into this structured process, you stop just hoping for better answers. You start actually engineering them with intention. And this is the real takeaway. All that hard work you put into improving your retrieval, your hit rate, your precision, your recall, it has a direct, measurable, and positive impact on the quality of your final answers. You can finally prove
that your changes are making the system better.
So here you go. Think of this as your dashboard, your cheat sheet. For the retrieval part, you're tracking hit rate, precision, recall, and coverage. For groundedness, you're watching faithfulness, citation accuracy, and those quote spans. Keep an eye on these numbers, and I guarantee you will systematically build a better RAG system.
You see, this data-driven way of doing things doesn't just fix problems. It unlocks new possibilities. It gives you the confidence to build bigger, more reliable, and more trustworthy AI applications. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?